I am running an emotional intelligence program right now. And in yesterday's mastermind, our program, which is based on empathy, the group of leaders participating stepped into this space and brought us to the topic of meetings. How do we demonstrate empathy in a social environment like meetings? Because what we're recognizing is sometimes in our meetings, people and energy gets hot. The emotional climate becomes combative. Individuals are stuck in a spiral of my way, my idea, I'm right, you're wrong. And the meeting starts to derail itself. So within leadership excellence, how do we mediate, moderate, prepare to ensure that meetings actually achieve the objectives that they're intended to achieve, while also fostering really strong relationships, cultivating a climate or culture that we want to experience? And so when we think about the meeting space, what we discussed is that leadership excellence in that space of empathy in meetings is twofold. First, how we prepare for meetings and the meeting culture that is expected is a key to creating expectations around meetings. If we aren't clear and decisive about what meeting spaces are, how they operate, what their intention is, then meetings can quickly go off the rails. And it can very quickly appear to everyone in the room that you as the leader are not really in control of the situation that's happening. So when we think about preparation, we want to think about the explicit intention of the meeting. Are we here for brainstorming? Are we here for decision making? Both. Are the right people in the room? If we're here for brainstorming, why are we allowing arguing about ideas? Brainstorming is about the cultivation of ideas. Accept them all, put them in the pool. And so when we are clear and explicit on intention, then we can easily or more easily hold people accountable to what our purpose of the meeting is. The second part of leadership excellence in our meeting spaces is how we mediate and moderate the meeting during. And strategies during is really about bringing people's attention back to how we're operating in an emotional climate. When we think cultural, we're also thinking expectations that we have articulated about how we treat each other, that emotions are valid, but not all behaviors are appropriate. So we have to have clear communication around validity of emotions and appropriate behaviors in those emotions. So in the thick of meetings where the climate is rising, the emotional climate is rising, as a leader, we may have to do things like pausing the meeting to reestablish the purpose. We may have to pause the meeting to reiterate the validity of emotions and then describe appropriate emotions and behaviors. We may have to pause a meeting to give time for thinking and absorption of thoughts and what's been shared up to this point. What we're really doing here is we're imposing a timeout for individuals to calm and collect. We might also be pausing the meeting to highlight what is our shared goal and intention. Because when we refocus people's minds onto what our shared goal is, we're standing shoulder to shoulder, we're moving to collaboration. If we forget to do that in an emotional climate, we're going to stay in a combative space. As we utilize these, what we can see that we're really intending to do is in a social climate, our goal is to call people up in their behaviors and their performance, not call them out on their behaviors and performance. When we do, we are securing a psychologically safe space. And that reinforces team and teamwork and teaming and culture, because then everyone is held to the same standard, which is grounded in our culture that speaks to caring about people first and challenging them second.